Hi, my name is Sarah Bertoni, and I decided to do my presentation on Time Incorporated versus Firestone. So, intro on this case. Mary Alice Firestone was married to Russell Firestone, and Russell was actually an owner of a big company called Firestone Tire and Rubber, and it was very famous, very wealthy. So Mary really went into a rich family. In 1975, Mary filed for divorce, and the husband actually filed a counterclaim against her on the grounds of cruelty and adultery. The judge granted the divorce, but discounted much of the evidence, including the counts of cruelty and adultery, because they were just unreliable. Time magazine actually found out about this and ran an article 1 week after the divorce was granted, and it included the alleged affairs. Mary saw this and told them to retract the article, but Time declined, so she then filed a libel suit against Time magazine seeking $100,000 in damages. As we learned last week in class, libel means ruining a person's reputation by written or printed words or pictures and then going and publishing them. In this case, that's exactly what Time did, so Mary was granted the money. Time actually did try to appeal this, saying that they believe that the First and 14th Amendments were violated, but after review, the court still decided to stick with their first decision. There have been some questions on how Time actually did lose this case, because they believed that Mary was considered a public figure because her family was so well known because of their company. I did some research and found some information on how it was determined whether or not you become a public figure. So the Supreme Court resolved this by coming to terms with two questions. Was Mary assumed to have a role of special prominence in the affairs of society, and did she voluntarily involve herself in the resolution of a public controversy? The court found that although Firestone was prominent in Palm Beach, which is where she lived, she was not a public figure in the affairs of society. The court also found that Mary did not become a public figure by voluntarily involving herself in the resolution of a public controversy. The divorce proceedings may have been of interest to some readers, but that doesn't mean that it was a matter of public controversy and that everyone wanted to know about this. Although she initiated the divorce suit, her actions were not voluntary because she was compelled to enter the courtroom to obtain a legal remedy. These findings concluded that Mary was not considered a public figure. So to put it into simpler terms, even though Russell Firestone may have been rich and famous and very well known, Mary was not. She was just the wife who married into it. Overall, I thought this case was pretty interesting. When I first read through it, I thought Mary would have been considered a public figure just because of her marrying into it. She's still part of the family, so she did become that famous bond between them. But the law says differently according to that. And either way, I agree that Time should have been a libel suit held against them, because assumptions such as adultery can really ruin a person's reputation.